All right. Hey, friends. Welcome to another marketing webinar with Alan Lee. That's me, and Jason Call with Handyman Web Design. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If this is your first time tuning in with us, we are using a streaming service called StreamYard. So if you're watching it on Facebook, you will need to allow StreamYard access to see your Facebook profile so that we could see your name over here in the chat section. This is an open chat section. This is going to be a completely viewer-led webinar here, so we want to answer your questions. So any question you have whatsoever regarding handyman stuff, whether it's marketing, pricing, whatever, go ahead and ask that. And if you are on Facebook, go ahead and allow StreamYard access to see your name on Facebook. There's also people tuning in here on YouTube. So thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to go ahead and get started here. We do have a few Facebook users tuning in. I can't see what your names are. Can you see their names, Jason?
Nope.
Okay, yeah. So Facebook users, you're going to need to allow Facebook or StreamYard to see your name on Facebook. The directions to do that is either above this video or on the side of this video, depending on what platform you are watching this on. So again, if you're on Facebook, allow StreamYard to access it. We got Brian Davis tuning in from YouTube. What's up, Brian? Always great to see you, man. Always great to see you. How are you healing up from your surgery? You're back at it, I believe. I hope you're doing well. We got Todd Smith from cold Cleveland. Man, oh man. Well, you know, it's I would say it's cold here, Jason, but it's probably not cold to most people. It's like, you know, we probably live in
it's California cold.
California cold. We got Abu Funga chiming in from YouTube. That's an interesting name. We got Mike Benner here from Facebook. What's up, Mike? We got JP from Facebook. Great to see you guys. Mike, I was just talking to my wife about you last night. It was pretty funny. I'll have to share that in our group coaching call this evening when we talk. We got JC's Handyman Service from YouTube chiming in. He says, how's it going, man? It's going great. Mr. Earl is in the house. What's up? Jason, maybe you want to go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell the audience a little bit about you, who you are, what your awesome credentials are.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I'm Jason. I own handymanwebdesign.com. So basically just help handyman services take their online marketing to the next level to grow their business from website design, SEO, Google ads, lead generation, all that stuff that you probably read about and hear about. I specialize in that for handyman services, and I've worked out with Alan Lee here for quite a number of years now, man. So I'm glad to be here. I love these live chats and these live things and just helping people out. So thanks for having me again, man.
Beautiful, beautiful. You're welcome. We're so glad to have you here. And if you guys don't know, my name is Alan Lee, and I own Honestly Handyman Services, which is a handyman business here in Sacramento, California. I also own and operate the Handyman Journey, which is a business consulting company. And what we do is we hook you guys as handymen up with the knowledge that you need to make your business successful. One of those things that we do on a regular basis is we hook you up with Jason Call. He is our marketing professional around here at the Handyman Journey. So this video is meant to answer all of your handyman questions, handyman marketing questions. So any questions you have, go ahead and put in the chat section. Another huge thing that I wanted to highlight that we are doing at the Handyman Journey is we are launching for the first time ever a pricing micro course, and that's going to be held January 11th, 2021. So if you are ready to start your 2021 off on a great foot, I would highly recommend you get involved in that pricing micro course. You're going to need to send me a private message either on Facebook or Instagram, and I'll get you the details on how to get registered for that. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. We're going to dive into some Google My Business stuff. But along the way, like we said, if you guys have any questions at all regarding handyman marketing, go ahead and ask that in the chat section. Jason is here. Pick his brain all you can. Very, very, very intelligent guy. So you want to use this to your advantage and ask him any questions that you might have. We have one Facebook user says that he needs leads. So I'm sure we're going to get into that But that's a very broad question, and we would love to hear a little bit more about that. How long have you been in business? What are you currently doing for marketing? But I'll go ahead and let Jason take over here talking about Google My Business.
Yeah. So need leads. I love that. We all need leads, right? So Google My Business. So we're actually just going to be, whenever me and Alan do this, we usually have like one like topic that we kind of cover within 5 minutes, while you guys like ask questions. So Google My Business is the greatest free lead generator. So it's definitely the need leads guy. You should like tune into this one, because if you don't have a Google My Business, you need to create one. And like Alan said, please, like any questions that you have related to marketing. I know we dip into like pricing and some business stuff every once in a while, but I'm here to help. So whatever questions you guys have, I'll give you my honest feedback from, my experience. I do handyman marketing every single day. It's what I do. So I'm happy to be here and to be able to help out and provide some value. So what we're going to do, we're going to jump into quickly cover like Google My Business, what that is. And we're going to jump into Honest Lee's Google My Business account. Just to kind of walk you through like just an overview of things that you need to pay attention to. So I'm going to share my screen here. We'll see. Let's see. Hopefully it just works out nice.
Yep. There we go.
Are we good?
Yep. Looks
All
good.
right, man. Okay. So first off, what you need to do is go to business.google.com. And a lot of this is highlighted. We actually have a guide on our website. So handymanwebdesign.com, go to about, resources, Google My Business Optimization Guide. It's so important that we have it right here. So definitely check that out, if I talk too fast. So business.google.com. If you don't have one, you'll be prompted to sign in and, create the account. Before we dip into the account too, why is this important? So let's go. Handyman near me. So here's the ads. 15% of clicks go here. About 35 to 50% go here in this map section. So 35 to 50% of clicks come right here to the best looking profile. So this would be Auburn Handyman for me. I live in a pretty rural area, guys. So the competition's pretty weak around me. But this is the power of Google My Business. Auburn Handyman is instantly going to get my phone call. And even if you cannot rank here, it can take some time and some work, and there's a lot of variables. You could still be in this list. I mean, shoot, even because handyman's in my business name, I'm here. So you can see you want to be here because a lot of people, that's how they search. That's how I personally find somebody. Like I recently had to go find a plumber. So plumber near me. All right, we're actually running this guy's ad. That's funny. So this is like what I did, and this is the guy I hired. I mean, he had 7 5-star reviews. He's a small business. I like supporting that. This is a bigger company. So anyway, this is the power of Google My Business. You can be here and it's free. So go to business.google.com and you'll create a profile. So here's Honestly Handyman Services, his Google My Business. If you look up Handyman Citrus Heights, we're going to see, here's his ad, and boom. Honestly Handyman Services. Even ranking above Handyman Citrus Heights.
Nice.
That's gotta be a spam listing. So here's the power of that. And there's like, how many people in Citrus Heights? Like over like 100?
There's 80,000.
How many?
80,000.
80,000 people. That is a lot of people. So just one more example of Google My Business. So once you create your account, guys, this is your dashboard. What you need, we're going to just quickly cover what you most need to pay attention to. There's a lot of things in ranking Google My Business. I'm not going to get into that. We're just going to kind of dip into the basics because this is what I see most frequently that people are missing out on. They do not have this profile even set up or set up correctly. So you're going to want to get that profile created. There's a verification process. Then you're going to get this dashboard. Obviously, your business name goes here. If your business name does have handyman or handyman services, you will rank higher in Google My Business. That's just a fact. Their algorithm looks at this for relevance. So if you have handyman services in your business name, it's a good thing. So if you haven't chosen a business name yet, definitely for SEO being found purposes, consider putting handyman or handyman services. That's the most highest volume keyword. Oh,
Hey,
sorry.
Jason, I got a question for you on that.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of talk about using the word handyman or like home service repair or something like that, because some people believe that there's a negative connotation to handyman. I personally wouldn't take handyman out of my name, but from an SEO standpoint, is it stronger to have the word handyman or something like home service?
Handyman. If you're a handyman service, you have not created your business name, from a marketing, digital marketing perspective, having handyman services, you are going to see search engine results faster. Certainly within Google My Business. So, you know, it's not recommended to put spam keywords in your Google My Business. So if your business name is honestly home repairs, don't make it honestly handyman services just on Google My Business. You risk running or being taken down.
Right, it's
So
got to be the same over every platform, right?
yeah. So if you are a home repair company, handyman service, the raw fact of the matter is that looking at search volume, people look up handyman. They look up handyman near me. They don't look up home repair. They do, but the volume is just not nearly there to handyman, because that's what the consumer thinks. That's what I think. So any negative connotation, I think that's something that you know, you kind of create that for yourself. I personally, since I've been doing this full time for 3 years, I have seen, especially with Alan Lee and the handyman journey, the word handyman is getting back to where it should be. It's professional handyman services. And so that's what you are. I don't think any kind of negative connotation about handyman. That's my personal opinion. I know people would disagree, but from a pure ranking perspective, you want to be a handyman, okay?
Right.
So
I would agree.
And that question.
That's a great question. I mean, that's a great answer. I would totally just piggyback on what that little spot is. Like, we are changing the game of handyman, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the past, handymen have been the people that, you know, show up, you know, smoking with holes in their shirt, and they maybe smell like marijuana. Like, we are changing the game. We are making the handyman business into something professional, something that has never happened. And that's happening right here at the handyman journey. So I would tell you guys, do not be ashamed to call yourself a handyman, because maybe right now in your area there is that stigma, but in 10, 20, 30 years, it's going to be completely different, and you are going to be so proud to be a handyman, because I'm personally proud to call myself a handyman. So thanks, Jason.
Yeah, that's awesome. And also too, that relates to pricing. There's no reason why you shouldn't be charging a price that like HVAC, that plumbers charge. Like, there's no reason. If you're a professional and fully licensed, insured handyman home repair company, like, there's no reason why you can't charge $100 an hour. Like, there's no reason why you can't have a $150 minimum service charge, because frankly, there's your best customers, your ideal customers, they are going to want to pay that because they want quality work. They don't want a ceiling fan that they look at and is like, is that going to fall out of my my ceiling? You know, like, they want it done right. So your ideal customers are going to pay for that that value, that service. And so it does tie into pricing too a little bit. So the pricing micro course, guys, that's something too that I talk to a lot of people that they're booked out, they're full time, but they just don't have any wiggle room money-wise to invest in growing their business because their pricing is not right. And so getting that dialed in, owning the fact that, you know, a handyman service is no reason why you shouldn't be charging what other home services charge. Of course, you've got to provide that level of service, that level of marketing, that level of operations, so invoicing, estimates, branding, all this stuff that commands that price. So I know there's tons of people in the handyman journey, especially in Alan's group, that's what they're doing. And it really is kind of this movement of where handyman industry is growing up to be HVAC. It's growing up to be plumbing. And it's really cool to see. So anyway, let's get right back into this. Alan, if you could tell me any like questions that come up, I kind of have, you know, this on another screen.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I know you're doing great.
So like I said, we'll just quickly go through this, guys, just the importance. So we covered the business name. This right here, this is your business categories, okay? Primary category, if you're a handyman, you want to be a handyman. This is one of the biggest ranking factors that you have control over. your primary business category. So Alan, we're just doing, like, he's just a handyman. If you do remodeling, stuff like that, then additional categories, there's remodeler, kitchen remodeler, bathroom remodeler. Add all of these as secondary categories. If you're primarily remodeling, put that as your primary. There's also contractor. There is general contractor. There is fence contractor. There is drywall contractor. So there's all these categories that you can add if you have your specialties. So, you know, pond contractor. So that's like more like landscaping. You know, there's a whole one for landscaper, landscape design. So definitely this is the most important thing. Make sure you have handyman. I see a lot of guys that businesses that are handyman, but they have this as contractor. People don't, they're not searching, you know, contractor when they want a handyman service. So definitely pay attention to that primary category. Here, you know, we don't have to worry about this. Add your service areas, pretty straightforward. Pay attention to all these extra stuff, guys. They're in here for a reason. The more information you give to Google, the better. You want to have complete profiles, not only on Google, but you want to have a complete profile on Yelp, on Angie's List, on whatever profile you are creating. Take the extra 5 minutes to add the photos, to put your hours in here that are accurate. Google likes, search engines, they like to see consistency. So keep that in mind when you're looking at all these extras where, you know, hours of operation, it's not important, right? I don't have an office. I kind of work from my home office, but pay attention to this stuff. Phone number. This is your short name, so definitely fill this one out. I'll show you an example of where you can use this. So we have honest-lee-handyman. So if we come here, we can instantly create a review link. So we type in g.page/short-name/review. This is in that guide on our website that I mentioned, so you don't have to write all this down or remember it. You send this to your customers, and this is what they get. My screen sharing, so I'm a little slower loading here. Spoiler, it pops up a review thing. So you can see how effective that can be to consistently accrue 5-star reviews on Google My Business. Very important for SEO and more importantly for building trust with people that are researching you. Most people are looking at reviews before they hire somebody. So if you have this link using that short name, so g.page/short-name/review, it gives you an easy review link that you can just send to all your customers and consistently get 5-star reviews. So you can bake that into your process pretty easily. Website address, guys. Website optimization is directly tied to actually Google ranking in Google Maps. So, you know, like we pulled in here, Handyman Citrus Heights. Google's factoring in your website too. So always connect your website. You know, as we'll see, if we pull up Alan Lee's website, you know, there's all the right keywords that we're targeting on his website and it's designed correctly where it's actually helping this profile rank. So that's why having that website field filled in. So honestly, Handyman Services in Sacramento, our Handyman Services, you know, you can see like, you know, your website matters is what I'm saying. So definitely, if you have a website, put that in here. The beauty of this services section, these will automatically populate now. That's like a recent update in the last year or two, based on your categories. So you don't have to worry about filling out the specifics if you don't want to. I recommend checking it out. So, you know, if you put in handyman, remodeling contractor, all that stuff up here in the categories, it's going to automatically populate the services area. That used to not be the case, used to be manual, but now it does it automatically, which is nice. There's additional attributes here. Like if you're a veteran-owned business, you know, they've got all this health and safety now with COVID. So let's see, we're going to actually check this one now for Honestly. That'll give you like a green check mark for online estimates. So if you have a website that's an estimate form, check that. It gives you a little bit more prominence in the search because it'll have a green check mark next to your under your name that says online estimates. So just another way to stand out. Lastly, guys, just to wrap this up real quick, everything's in the info section. Business description, you know, take something from your about section of your website, just a brief description of your business. There's no correlation that's been proven for keyword stuffing this, so don't worry about just jamming it with keywords. Just write something that describes your business. I'll give you how someone could see that. So if we look up, we do a brand search, Honestly Handyman. So here's his about section right here. So that's that description. Opening date, not super important. The last thing I'll touch on, guys, is photos. Add photos, add personal photos. Also title your photos what they are. So right here, we'll have a picture of Alan Lee, and the title of this picture before we upload it is going to be Alan Lee, owner of Honestly Handyman Services in Sacramento. The title of your images that you upload here, there is a correlation for your for SEO. So there is a positive correlation with uploading photos that have keywords that describe your pictures and your Google My Business ranking better in maps. So upload photos that are personal. I mean, you can see how many views this gets. I mean, look at this one with a vent or with a thermometer or a thermostat, 669 views. Fence, 1.1K views. Here's Frank, 1.6. So you can see all these personal photos we've uploaded for Alan. It's important. Here's his wife. I mean, this is all just easy stuff you can do one time. I think if you do the post option too, it automatically uploads photos to here. So that is, I think, my brief rundown here of Google My Business. If you need leads and you don't have this yet, please set this up as soon as possible, guys. It's the greatest free marketing asset you can have online. And I hope that, if you've tuned in, you can see why this is so important, like looking at the specific examples of people that would be searching for your services nearby.
Very good. Very good. Thank you so much, Jason.
Yeah, is that helpful?
Very helpful. Let's see. Sweet. Here. Here's another question by Liz C. What social media platform should you focus on?
Well, assuming you already have a Google My Business profile, it's not social technically. Facebook is where 99.9% of your customers are. So that's my recommendation for social media. I know there's lots of people that have success just posting regularly on social media. Alan is the great example of that. He posts every single day to Facebook and Instagram. And he does it like he schedules it out. Both platforms connect, so you can post to both easily. But I understand that digital marketing, there's like 1,000,001 different things you can do to market a business. There's Pinterest, there's endless platforms, right? Focus on something that you can digest. Focus on Facebook. Set a goal of posting, once or twice a week. Always post pictures of like yourself working, job photos, something that's just more than text. Always provide a call to action. So, if you have a website, say get a free estimate at yourwebsite.com or call and then your phone number. It's powerful stuff. People share stuff on Facebook, especially your close network. People care about your success, and all your friends and family are on Facebook. And if you tell them like, hey, can you support me on Facebook? They will. If you just ask for help, they will. So as far as one to focus on, Facebook, just because, most people are on there.
Right. Definitely. And, just the power of posting on your own personal page is very powerful as well. Looking at it, from a perspective of, by the time someone is 20 years old, they know roughly 2,000 people. Okay. So, and you can multiply that by, like, if they're 40, they know roughly 4,000 people. So even if you were to post on your personal page and say, hey, I'm starting up a handyman business and, such and such, right? Your, second cousin once removed that lives on the other side of the world that you haven't seen in 20 years, they probably follow you on Facebook, but they're not even near you. So why would they even need to know about my handyman business? They may know someone that lives just right around the corner from you. Like, social media is huge in the way that it works. So do not be afraid to get out there and post, especially on your personal profile, but also create a business profile and post on that every single day. Very, very important. We had another question here by the same person, Liz C. What do you do if there are other handymen with the same name?
I would say you want a unique name,
Mhm.
at least not a name that's shared by someone within your service area.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, that's my answer. Like, if someone else has the same name as you, then change your name. Or yeah, like, because you definitely want to be. Um, okay. Do you see any questions that stand out to you here, Jason?
Um, let's see. Any chance to save the stream? Yeah, this will be all saved. Best first tips for starting a business. Create a Google My Business, uh, and your basic profiles. That's like even before I would focus on, posting every day on Facebook. Take the time to set up your foundation. Get a Google My Business, create your free profiles like Yelp, Angie's List, House, BBB has free profiles. You can get a free website through Google My Business. Just like really basic stuff that you can start a business with. Like, it takes time, but get the foundation built before you start looking at like, I'm going to post every day to Facebook.
Hmm.
Because having that foundation built, it adds up over time. Gives you, and it sends search engines more signals of like your business because you're listed in more places, same name, same address, same phone number, same website. So build that foundation. That would be my tip
Hmm.
for digital marketing, starting a business. Get your foundation built and reach out to your personal network, like Alan mentioned. Um,
Hmm.
when you start a business, the first place you should tap into is friends, family in the area. Say, hey, I'm starting a handyman service. If you guys could please, like, if you have any work that needs done, I'd love the opportunity to help. And if you know anybody, please, tag my Facebook page. Get your business cards, some sales flyers, print
Hmm.
it out. Print marketing goes a long way, especially when you're first starting. And I mean, Alan was just telling me he still puts out yard signs. Like he's just out there like sticking the yard sign in. Like that's important stuff. That's not digital marketing, but it's really it's a good tip for kind of getting your name out there.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing on that is, so for us, right, we started full time January 1st of 2017, but our business started well before that. So when we knew that we were going to be starting full time, we went ahead and ramped everything up so that we would be prepared to hit the ground running. I remember I was going to, so full time first date was January 1st, 2017. And I was saying to myself that day, January 17th, I'm going to just hit the ground running. I'm going to go door to door. I'm going to hand out business cards. I'm going to see if people need stuff repaired. Right. And I was talking to my mentor and they said, well, that's kind of a silly idea. Like, why don't you start before you start? And I'm like, wow, well, that's an interesting thought. So what they encouraged me to do was just to work my butt off the month of December when I still worked at my prior job. So every night, every weekend, I worked my butt off to try and gain a customer base so that when I went full time in January, I could hit the ground running with actual work rather than just hoping to get work, right? So when I went into January 1st, I had a full week's worth of work already booked, right? So I was booking full day jobs in December for January 1st when I would go full time, right? So prepare yourself, right? So we got a few guys that maybe they are out because of injury right now, right? And they are waiting to heal up so that they could start back into their business. But while you're healing up, use that time for your advantage and use that time to actually gain, get jobs, book appointments so that when you start full time, you're actually making money the first day that you start rather than just trying and hoping for money. Does that make sense? So that would be my first tip is start before you start, and you could start with things like this. Create a Google My Business. You could get business cards. You could get yard signs made. You could send out mailers. You could do all these things without actually having a full 8 hours to devote to your handyman business. You could do the stuff in the nights and the weekends while you're still working at your part-time job. Very important to get started before you start. So Liz C says, should the website have a blog? And what should I write about? If so, what are your thoughts on that?
So in my opinion, a blog is not something that you should worry about until you have, a staff and your marketing's really cranking. because your time's going to be better spent like doing other marketing activities. So and that's coming from the perspective of like most people in here I know are like new businesses and trying to figure out how to generate leads. So your time's way better spent, connecting with, it's kind of hard with the restrictions from the COVID stuff, but depending on your area, you can get creative, but I believe that your time's better spent doing revenue generating activities, marketing activities. So, doing the yard signs, doing the flyers, door hangers, whatever, like you're allowed to do per neighborhood, making those connections and getting your name out there. That time is going to be better spent doing that, the revenue generating activities, than worrying about a website and a blog, because that's most effective when it's professionally managed, because there's lots of stuff that goes into optimizing a website, optimizing a blog, so that actually makes an impact in search rankings, because that's the point of a blog. I mean, of course, there's the educational component, sharing your work. So that's something that's a DIY thing for a blog, which pretty much a blog, guys, it's just like, it doesn't have to be like an article. It could be a project summary. You could, if you have a website that has that functionality, then you could post project summaries of like, installed this ceiling fan in Citrus Heights, California, and then a bunch of photos. It doesn't have to be super complicated. It adds new content to your website. Search engines like to see that. But if you're new and trying to generate business, I would put the blog and project summary stuff on the back burner and focus on revenue generating activities that are going to produce short-term results. Blogging is certainly a long-term strategy for search engine optimization.
Definitely. Yeah. And I was listening to a podcast by Gary Vee. I don't know how many of you out there follow Gary Vee. I don't fully recommend all of his tactics, but he's a very huge entrepreneur, very much about hustle and getting after it. And he was interviewing a guy the other day, and they were talking just about mindset of complaining, right? Is as human beings, we love to complain. We love to complain about what we do not have. But in reality, you have no reason to complain unless you've tried and exhausted every single effort. Okay. I remember when the whole COVID-19 first started and people were locking down, and this was in the beginning of the year. And, there's a lot of handymen saying, oh, no one's calling my phone. Like there's nothing, I can't get work right now. Right. And, so I had that same thought too, right? My mind went straight to, oh crap, like I'm not getting any work. No one's calling. Like, what am I going to do? But at that point, you have to make a decision to either be a champion or be a victim. That's what it comes down to. And the people that survived and the people that their business flourished during that time were the people that exhausted every effort to find new clients. Okay. From time to time, things change. And when that happens, when people start freaking out, like at the beginning of coronavirus, no one could find toilet paper. People didn't know how they were going to wipe their butt, right? Like people were freaking out. So things changed. Their normal way of doing things changed because they were in a heightened sense of stress. Okay. So we need to, as business owners, figure out a new way to engage these people, a new way to find business. And oftentimes those new ways will show us different ways of how we could continue to market. So what I did for the first time during that time is I blanketed the town with yard signs. And I found that that's actually a very successful way of marketing in my area during slower times. So at the beginning of coronavirus, it was very good. During the winter, it's very good. These are things that, we just need to try. We need to try, implement. And if they don't work, we need to pivot and shift to another thing. But very important to exhaust all of your efforts to try and figure out what different marketing works for your area.
Here's an idea too, that we talk about a lot, but just in case you didn't hear it, there's all kinds of local Facebook groups, like for every single town. And a lot of times there's multiple, and they allow businesses to post once a week, once a month with like an advertisement for free. And it gets shown to local people that live there. And so that's something that if you need leads, get your Facebook profile online, post some pictures, and like take like a selfie picture of yourself with, next to a job or with some tools if you don't have a job yet, with a mask on or whatever you think that people would kind of like catch on to, and it'd get a lot of engagement, and you could offer your services, put your phone number in there. That would be a way more productive time spent to generate business if you need the business. So that's an idea that I see a lot, and I've heard a lot of people have success with posting these free advertisements in local Facebook groups. Just focus on the content that you're putting into it. Like, have a picture of yourself or your work. It works. That's what I've heard. It works, and it's free.
Yep, definitely. So we got a question here from JC Handyman Services. It says, where do you post yard signs? So it's kind of an interesting thing because some cities don't allow you to post yard signs. I kind of take more of a libertarian stance on that, where if they want to take my yard sign, they can, right? I'm going to kind of what's the saying? It's better to ask for forgiveness than something or other. So I just put my yard signs wherever. I put them wherever. And then if they get taken down by the city, they get taken down by the city. That's just something that's kind of like a cost that's built into some of my stuff, you know. So I post yard signs everywhere, street corners, obviously not people's houses unless they are my clients and say I can. But, you know, I'll post them on street corners, things like that, anywhere where people are going to be stopped for a long period of time where they can read my sign. So I got them, like, you know, at red lights or at stop signs or at intersections. Ones that I found that have been really well, when you have one road that goes into a big community, that road, if you could get one at the entrance to that and the exit, that to me has been the most profitable, having them there. But you can really put them anywhere, but I always ask clients, definitely don't put them on people's property unless you ask them. So clients, I'll ask them if I could leave the yard sign there for, you know, 2 to 4 weeks, and most of the time they're cool with that. Except unless it's an HOA, the HOA will only allow you to have it on there for 10 days. Some of them won't allow you to have it on at all. So do you have anything else to add to that, Jason?
Yard signs don't work too well for my business, so I don't have much experience.
Right. Bagu said, I like to drop flyers all over the city from a helicopter. Now that's thinking outside the box. I like it.
That's a lot of jet fuel expense or the helicopter expense. But hey, you know, whatever works.
So we were just talking about this before, Jason. Postcard mailing, will it work? What's your say on that, Jason?
Yeah, I know. I'll say my short piece, and then because Alan just signed up for something like this. So I've worked very closely with a lot of different home services, and all the big guys, they do mailers, and their ROI is very good. That's why they do mailers. So you probably get mails for, you know, HVAC. They're common. They send out mailers all the time. It's part of a lot of their more developed HVAC companies. They have mailers. It's because they work. You just got to pay attention to the zip codes and where they're being sent. Alan will talk about a specific service that actually he uses in handyman business that takes care of that for him. But in my experience, the companies I've worked with that do them, they do them because they get a positive ROI. They get customers from them. Customers mention it. Typically on the flyer, it has, like, you know, mention this offer or something, so they know it came from a mailer, so they can justify that expense. So that's a point, just a larger point on marketing. Do stuff that you can really measure the ROI in, so that way you can you know, more confidently scale your budget and know you're going to get the work, the return from your budget for it. But yeah, postcard mailing works for home services from what I've heard.
Definitely. So there's a one company, and I forget which one it is, but they are the ones who basically supply mailing lists that you can go on their website. You can type in a certain address, and within a certain radius, they can give you mailing addresses for those for a certain fee. Markate, which is the invoicing and estimating software that I recommend for handymen to use, they actually have a service that uses that same company, but they do it all themselves. So it costs a little bit more, but it's cheaper because it's all through one company. So Markate, what I did is so whenever we have a client come in, I make them into a Google Calendar or a Google Contact, especially if they become a VIP coupon member. They become a Google contact. So when I go to Google Maps, it shows me where all my Google contacts are, you know, like all around the US or well, mainly around here, right? So I can go to any specific neighborhood and see, oh, I got 15 clients in that neighborhood, or this neighborhood, I only have 1 or 2 clients. This neighborhood, I have maybe 20 or 30 clients. So I can see which neighborhood I have most clients in, and that usually means that income demographic and the people are actually more likely to buy my services. At least that's the way I see it. So what I ended up doing was I found a neighborhood that had, you know, a good amount of clients, but still a lot more clients to choose from. I went on Mark8, typed in that address. They populated a service area. I think it's like $1.10 per postcard. I said I want to get 200 in this neighborhood because there's like 500. Somehow they figure out where potential clients might be. They said there's possible 500 potential clients there. I said I'll take 200 of them. And then they go ahead and walk you through creating a postcard, which is cool because so that's the thing that if you go directly to the company that offers the mailing addresses, they don't personalize a postcard for you. You have to get that done at a third party. So it's just like you have to contact 3 different companies to get one thing done. Whereas rather, I would just hire Mark8, pay them a little bit extra, and they do everything. So I designed a postcard with what I wanted it to say, and then they're going to go ahead and, you know, put the mailing addresses on it and ship it out to those guys. So that's kind of an interesting thing. I just did that a few days ago, so I don't have any concrete evidence on how that turned out. But from what I've heard from a lot of other people, Ed Toy is actually the guy who I got this information from. He's involved in our Business Builders bi-monthly group coaching call membership. And we're actually meeting today about that as well. So Mark8 is the company, and it's invoicing and estimating software. It's spelled market. I'll put it here, Mark8. Yeah, so that's the company I use. So that's my saying on that. You got anything else to say on that, Jason?
So your local print shops, a lot of them, they offer this service. So you can go there, you can tell them what, you know, zip codes and all that stuff, and they do that for you. So it's a one-stop shop if you don't have Mark8 or, you know, that's another option is a lot of print shops just call them and say, hey, can you guys do, you know, mailer campaigns? And a lot of them do, and they do the design of it. That's important too. You definitely don't want to provide your own design. You want that designed by a professional who designs the flyers, because there are certain design elements, just like, you know, any kind of advertising, there's certain design elements that should be there, that these guys know how to do, so they can best take in your business information, your offer, put it into a nice postcard that's going to, you know, have a better ROI than if you just design one yourself on Word or whatever.
Yeah. So I'll put it on the screen here. This is the name of the company. It's Mark8, and just go to mark8.com, and it's an invoicing and estimating software. But like what Jason said, local print shops do that as well. Okay. So I saw one question up here. I wanted to make sure that this guy knew. Dale Baker says, "Where is the Google My Business Guide located?" Jason,
so on handymanwebdesign.com, in the About tab, there's a resources section, and it's listed right there. Google My Business Optimization Guide, I believe it is.
Can you share that screen real quick just so people can see that?
Let's see. Back into this thing. Yeah, definitely. If you don't have a Google My Business, guys, and you're in business, or even if you're about to start, this is where it's at. On handymanwebdesign.com. So click this, and it's got kind of the rundown of what we talked about and what's important. So,
okay, awesome. Thanks for that. Thanks for that, Jason. Dale Baker is also in our bi-monthly group coaching call membership. So I'm going to be talking with him tonight on our private group coaching call. There was one question here.
JC's Handyman Services. What service or services do you offer as a coupon discount? I think that's a good one.
Yeah, so we currently offer a proactive maintenance discount for gutter cleaning, and I like that word, like proactive maintenance discount. You can make that for anything. You can make it for gutter cleaning. You can make it for dryer vent cleaning. You can make it for pressure washing. You can make it for, you know, whatever, right? So you could basically make coupon discounts for whatever you want. And we talked about this pretty in depth on the last webinar that we did, where it's important to do discounts. Some people say, well, why would I discount my rate, right? But it's something that gets you in the door for greater services. So you can pretty much offer a coupon discount for anything. We do, our main one is gutter cleaning services, but we're definitely going to be experimenting with a bunch of other ones as well as we go. So,
and regular like predictive services are best for that, like gutter cleaning, dryer vent cleaning, because that way you can get the customer's permission to add them to like a list. So when that season rolls around, so say like it's best to get your gutters cleaned twice a year. Is it okay if do you want us to add you to our list? We'll call and get you scheduled in 6 months. So it's a good way to like lock in that revenue. I mean, at a discounted rate, maybe, but whenever it's locked in, you can create those efficiencies in your business. It's predictable work, cleaning gutters, cleaning a dryer vent. So those are great stuff to not only offer as like an intro kind of discount like Alan does, but to get the customer's permission to be like, hey, can we call you, for the next, like in 6 months or in a year? Like for me personally, like we have a chimney, a pellet stove, and we get it professionally cleaned every year, and our dryer vent, because that's what you do.
right.
And so we have a company where they call us every year before their busy season, like in July or August, September, and they call and they're like, hey, we're AAA stove cleaning. We're just calling about your annual like maintenance cleaning. Can we get you on the calendar? And I'm like, yep, let's do it.
Right.
And it doesn't even matter. I just know as a property owner, like it's something that you need to do. And that's the value that they sold me too. The first time they came, was like, yeah, you should really do this once a year. I'm like, yeah, sure. I don't know anything about chimney cleaning and all that stuff. So you could do the same thing for dryer vents, for if you do chimneys, if you do gutter cleaning, all great stuff to kind of get in the door and then get that like recurring customer. And that's going to have other problems in their house and they will call you.
Definitely. So here's another question. For my information, you guys insure your companies? Yes. Insuring your tools, is that expensive? Or are you insuring your business for the work you're doing? What should I look for in terms of insurance? So I would recommend you to talk to an insurance guy. I have a great guy here in California, but I don't know, based on where you are, you might want to find an insurance guy. You need a lot of different insurance. So for instance, we have general liability insurance is definitely one that every handyman needs. General liability insurance, make sure it covers the work that you do. So when you sign up for general liability insurance, they will ask you, are you on a roof that's 2 stories, 3 stories, whatever? Do you do gutter cleaning? They want to know what kind of work you do so they could properly insure you. And then apart from that, I also have tool insurance. So I have insurance that covers my tools for the cost of my tools. If they were to be stolen, if they were to be whatever, I would get that returned. Then you also need, you need to think about commercial auto insurance, insuring your vehicles and the people driving your vehicles from a commercial standpoint. You need to think about, this is kind of getting, workers' comp and stuff like that. But there's a lot of other stuff that you need to get involved in. But ultimately, I would urge you to talk to an insurance guy. Let's see here. Maui Steve in the house. What's up, Maui Steve? JC says, how do you feel about cold calling for work? What do you think about that, Jason?
I don't think it's a good idea for handyman services because you're entering a very like special sacred place for families. It's their house, it's their home. And I think cold calling kind of goes against that trust that people might have. I don't know. To me, it kind of turned me off. I mean, I personally, I'm not big into cold calling myself. I don't like getting cold called. If I need a service, then I'm gonna look up. I either have somebody, I have a referral, or I'm gonna look them up online. I think certain industries, cold calling certainly is. I mean, you guys are handyman, so you probably get cold called all the time from Yelp and Home Advisor. So I know how everyone feels about that. So I personally am not big on cold calling, and certainly for home services, I would take a more personal approach, with, spending a little bit of extra time, a little bit of extra effort, a little bit extra money, and like going and meeting people, knocking on doors or just leaving flyers, networking with HOA boards, stuff like that, to kind of get in the door in a more personal way. On your flyer, have like a nice headshot of yourself, because you're going into someone's home. And something about a cold call just doesn't build that trust. I personally don't feel.
Right. I would agree. Yeah. JP says it's like the used car salesman tactic. So yes, so this has been a great webinar. We're actually going to be tuning off here. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We appreciate each and every one of you. A few things that we want to let you guys know about. Like we talked about before, we are having a pricing micro course that starts on January 11th, 2021. So brand new year, brand new view on pricing. So personal message me, Alan Lee, on Facebook for more details on that. We'd love to get you involved in that. And then we are also going to be having our bi-monthly group coaching call in our private business builders group this afternoon at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and send me a personal message. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Check out handymanwebdesign.com for all of your marketing questions and marketing needs. Jason Call is your guy. I wouldn't use anyone else, so I would highly recommend that. So do you have anything else to say here, Jason, before we head out?
I just want to quickly mention, like Corey's comment there. He markets his business with cold cards. I love that idea, man. That's so awesome. It seems like it works for him. So if Liz is still in this call, that is a great alternative. Rather than writing blogs, write handwritten cards with have like a photo of yourself or, whatever. I mean, I don't know. I think that's a really good way to spend your time if you're trying to drum up business. Because when you think about, you get a card in the mail. If it's got a stamp and if it's handwritten, you open it. And if everyone needs a handyman, I think that's a great way to make an impression. You even have something like that links to a review. I think that's a brilliant idea. I've never heard of that one. I love it.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I love it.
So anyway, beyond mentioning that comment, I think that's awesome. I got nothing. Appreciate being on here, man. I love being here and helping people out and answering questions. So it's a good time.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much, and I hope you guys have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.